Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is the first Friday of November and the first Friday of my No Fear November challenge, and I must say it's going pretty well. Y'all have to excuse the ugliness on my face right now. I'm also participating in the No Shave November, and honestly, I forgot why I started that. I guess it was some sort of challenge or something somebody put to me a few years ago, and I just kept up with it. I like the freedom of not shaving. Anyway, that's not what this is about. So I'm gonna keep it kind of light today. Tell you a story or two, just to give you a little bit of insight to who I am as a human being and what brought me to this point in life. Anybody knows me knows I have 3 children, and I come from a family that that believes in beating kids down, when they get in trouble. Not as the only form of punishment. Let me clear that up for all you sensitive people that, oh no, don't spank the kids. No, I spank kids. And be careful, your kid get out of line, I spank them too. No, I don't put my hands on the kids like that, other people's kids like that. Even though that was a thing in the day, I can remember a time where if you cut up down the street and Miss So-and-so caught you cutting up, she'd beat your tail and then take you back home to your mama would beat your tail, and then shoot, daddy come home, if those of us that had fathers in the house. Well, I didn't have a father in the house at that time until about when I was 15. Anyway, different story. If you had fathers in the house, he beat your tail. So you probably caught about 2-3 butt whoopings in a day for doing one thing wrong. Anyway, that's not what that's about. Anyway, my mom, I swear she was the queen of whooping behinds, man. Like when people say, oh, I'm gonna beat the black off you, I really believe she took that challenge seriously, because I used to be a couple shades darker than this. So she didn't beat the black off me, but she sure tried. So I kind of laughed because just this past summer I had my daughter, and my daughter did something, and man, I was ready to tear her tail up. And so my mom was like, Rory, don't whoop her. Excuse me, come again? Don't whoop her. This coming from a lady that really believed and stood by butt whoopings. I thought like butt whoopings was her only form of punishment. Not only that, she whipped my tail and then she would talk to me. I'd be like, man, just give me the whooping. You don't have to talk to me. I think the talking to was worse than getting the whooping, because it was like getting 2 of them. And my mother's a highly educated woman too. So she hit you with intellect and then hit you with that belt. And I'm just like, man, it's a 2 for 1 and you lose all the way around. But anyway, she told me, Roy, don't whoop her. Don't whoop her. And I would tell her about, man, she sometimes raising kids is tough. You should know, Mom, raising kids is tough. And I tell her about some of the trials I go through as a parent, and she laughs at me. Like, I don't know, like she laughs at me like the stuff is funny. And I'm like, man, I'm really pouring my heart out and trying to get her to sympathize or empathize with me, and she doesn't, which, this is my mom. We're cool. We have our relationship is like that. But she does, on the flip side, she does give me wisdom. And she tells me stories about how I was when I was a kid. And she always contends that my kids don't hold a candle to some of the things I've done. So real quick, I'm just gonna give you a story that we talked about last week. So I think I was about two, maybe 3 years old. We were living in Illinois at the time, and we were living in Belleville, Illinois at the time. And she made it clear detail that we had light powder blue carpeting in the apartment we were living in. And so I guess she told me to go, according to her recollection, she told me to go upstairs and go to bed. Now mind you, I'm 2 years old, about 2.5, 3 years old, 2 years old. And so I guess, I don't know, her spider sense started, after a while, her spider sense started tingling, that women's intuition that you guys have. She said I was being too quiet. And so when she got upstairs to see what I had done, she was in horror. So apparently, I got mad at her telling me to go upstairs and go to bed or what have you. So I decided, in all my infinite wisdom at 2 years old, to take a dump in the doorway. Not only did I just take a dump in the doorway, I took the door and ran it back and forth over the poop, grinding it into the powder blue carpet. Now, I don't know if I put my hands in it and smeared it on the walls or whatever, but then, as the story goes, my mom ran the bath, and she told me, from what the story I got before, she told me she put me in the tub and said, if you make a sound, I'm going to drown you. So, obviously, I didn't say anything because I'm here to tell the story today. So anytime, and I have a couple other stories, but anytime I think my kids are getting out of pocket or what have you, she always brings something up to make me think, man, these kids aren't as bad as I make them out to be. On that note, I will touch on the subject of spanking kids. I'm a firm believer in spanking kids, but I'm a firm believer in the punishment should match the wrongdoing. You know, there's a way to correct children. If you're just out here beating kids, that's abuse, and that's not right. I believe the punishment should match the offense. There's been plenty of times where, especially now lately, I just talked to my daughter, and she's okay. You know, my sons have their issues from time to time, and I talk to them, and they're okay. But best believe, yeah, if it warranted a whooping, I believe in busting butts. That's just my thing. You know, some of y'all sensitive parents would be like, oh, we're not gonna whoop the kids because it brings violence and it's abuse. And you shut up. You probably need your butt whooped. You know, you wonder why your kids are out of control. I really didn't want this to go this way, but oh well. You wonder why your kids are out of control and don't listen and don't do this and don't do that. First of all, stop doping them up. Bottom line, now I had ADD, I still have ADD. I was diagnosed with ADD as a kid, second grade, I believe. And my teacher, Miss Keller, was very patient with me. They had to explain to the students that, you know, I was, be taking medication and I had behavioral problems and attention problems, yada, yada. And they put me on that Ritalin, and man, that Ritalin slowed me all the way down. Couldn't hardly be creative. But when I was off the Ritalin, I do everything. I was a little rambunctious, but I was able to create, and I was able to be the kid that I needed to be, and even be the student that I needed to be. But that Ritalin slowed me way down. I'll never ever advocate for medication unless it's absolutely necessary. Just like I'll never ever say, oh no, just beat them, unless it's absolutely necessary. I never told my mom this, and she'll probably know now. But when I was in the 5th grade, I was still taking a Ritalin. So our routine was, I'd take a pill. Well, from 2nd to about 4th grade, I'd take half a pill for breakfast, and then take the other half of the pill at lunch. That way, I guess they split the dose to kind of balance me out the whole day. In the 5th grade, she just started giving me the whole pill with my breakfast. Like, that'd be the only meal my mom cooked. They made breakfast in the morning. So I take the whole pill at breakfast time. Well, I started to get a little slick. In the 5th grade, I really made up my mind that I was just going to do the right thing. So what I would do, I'd fake like I took the pill, eat my breakfast, then I go to the bathroom, throw the pill in the toilet, and just be on my P's and Q's and really mind my manners and make the conscious effort to do better. For those parents that just say, hey, medicine, without even trying to give your kid a chance to do better, you might as well, beat them to sleep. Kids, I mean, like I had to want to. I had to want to and the will to want to do better. So I did, for the most part. I mean, in fifth grade, I still got in trouble from time to time. Shout out to Miss Gamble. Shout out to Kate Bell Elementary School. But yeah, you have to give these kids a chance. And then, too, not stifle who they are. Kids are going to be kids. Kids are going to do what they're going to do regardless because they are just finding their way. And you have to understand that we were kids, too, at one point. And granted, our parents took the time out to teach us to be respectful to others. See, that's a part we're missing too. Like our generation, in the 40s, we're raising these punk ass kids. We really are. We're really raising these entitled, self-absorbed, egotistical kids. So the way these kids act, hey, it's our fault. It's our fault for not owning up and saying, you know what, I understand the ways that our parents taught us aren't always the best ways, but sometimes those old methods works. Sometimes you just have to bring out that rod of correction and bust butts, whether it be verbally or physically. You don't always have to physically bang, 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 but hit the cerebral from time to time. Kids need structure. Kids desire structure. I tell my daughter all the time, I tell my sons all the time, I'm not your best friend. I'm not your friend. I'm your father. But I love you and I can be your best friend. Now my boys are teenagers, both of them about to be 18. Well, the one is 18, the other is about to be 18. And so we have different conversations, But with my daughter, she knows. Daddy's not your friend. Daddy loves you. Daddy will go to the ends of the earth for you. But we're not friends. Love you. Not when I say friends, we're not on the same level. We don't have the same peer group. Okay, I'll say it like that. Again, for you sensitive ones, we're not in the same peer group. But just a little insight to my life. You guys have a wonderful Friday.